The day I walked into my daughter's cafe and found her on her knees, scrubbing the bathroom floor with trembling hands, tears falling onto the tiles, I realized I had made the biggest mistake of my life. My daughter Emily was my whole world. From the moment she was born, I promised myself she would never live the hard life I lived. I grew up working endless hours for people who never cared, married too young, and spent years sacrificing my dreams. So when life finally gave me a chance, I wanted to build something that belonged to her. That's how Emily's Corner Cafe was born. A warm, cozy little place with wooden tables, soft jazz music, and the smell of freshly baked cinnamon rolls floating in the air. I poured my heart, my savings, and my entire soul into that cafe. And on her 22nd birthday, I placed the keys in her hand. She cried, hugged me, and whispered, "Mom, I will make you proud." But life doesn't always reward good hearts. Just 2 months later, she married a man named Jason. He seemed nice enough, soft-spoken, responsible, but his mother, Margaret, was a completely different story. Controlling, cold, judgmental. She believed women should stay at home, obey, and never question anything. I had a bad feeling about her from the start, but Emily loved Jason, and I didn't want to ruin her happiness. Soon after the wedding, Emily's visits to the cafe became less frequent. "Mom," she said one evening, "Margaret thinks I should focus on being a good wife first. She doesn't like me working outside." My heart tightened, but I didn't want to interfere. I told her to follow her heart. A week later, the cafe manager called me. "Sarah, Emily hasn't been here, but her mother-in-law came. She made a scene." "What kind of scene?" I asked. He lowered his voice. "She said she is in charge now." I felt my blood go cold. I rushed to Emily's house that same night. She opened the door with swollen eyes. "Honey, what's going on?" I whispered. She wiped a tear and said, "Mom, Margaret took the cafe keys. She said I don't deserve to run anything until I learn to run a home properly." Jason supported her. My heart shattered into pieces, but I held her face and said gently, "We will fix this." But things only got worse. 3 weeks later, the cafe manager called again, panicked. "Sarah, you need to come now. Something is wrong with Emily." I drove like my life depended on it. When I entered the cafe, my breath stopped. My daughter, my gentle, innocent Emily, was on her knees in the bathroom, her hands red and raw from scrubbing, her clothes stained with cleaning chemicals, her eyes puffy from crying, and standing over her, arms crossed, that same cold expression. "Margaret, what the hell is going on here?" I screamed. Emily jumped, terrified. Margaret didn't even flinch. She looked at me and said, "Oh, look, the mother who spoiled her daughter. Why is she cleaning the bathroom floor? This cafe belongs to her." Margaret smirked. "Her cafe? Not anymore. She doesn't deserve to run anything until she learns how to be disciplined." "You're treating her like a servant," I shouted. "She's my daughter-in-law," Margaret snapped. "I decide what she needs to learn." "No," I said, stepping closer. "Not here, not in my daughter's cafe." She raised an eyebrow. "Your daughter belongs to my son, so everything she owns belongs to us." That sentence, that horrible, toxic sentence, made something inside me snap. I got down on the bathroom floor beside Emily, took her shaking hand and said, "Honey, get up, we're leaving." Margaret reached out to grab her. "You can't take her." I stood and looked her dead in the eyes. "You don't own my daughter." I pulled Emily up and held her close. She broke down in tears in my arms. "Mom, Jason is going to be so angry." I kissed the top of her head. "Let him be, you are not going back there." That night, Jason pounded on my front door, yelling, "You turned my wife against me." I opened the door a little and said, No, your mother humiliated her. I saved her. Emily came to the door, her voice shaking. Jason, your mom made me scrub toilets in my own cafe. He didn't deny it. He didn't apologize. He just frowned and said, "She was teaching you humility." Emily's face fell. I stepped between them. Jason, leave now. He stormed away, shouting that Emily would regret it. I slammed the door and held my daughter as she cried. The next morning we went to the cafe. We changed the locks. We cleaned up the mess Margaret had created. We sat with the staff, explained everything, and rebuilt the place together. Slowly, beautifully, Emily found herself again. She introduced new menu items, hosted community events, added latte art classes, decorated the cafe with plants and fairy lights. Her joy returned. Her smile came back. Her confidence bloomed like a flower finally getting sunlight. One evening, as she counted the day's earnings, she looked up and said, "Mom, I feel alive again." I hugged her tightly. You were always meant to shine, sweetheart. 3 months later, Jason and Margaret showed up at the cafe again, demanding Emily come back home. But this time, Emily didn't hide behind me. She didn't cry. She didn't tremble. She stood tall. "I'll only return if you respect me," she said calmly, "and if your mother stays out of my life." Margaret scoffed. "You are nothing without us." Emily stepped closer, eyes steady, voice soft but powerful. "I am everything without you." I swear I felt tears in my eyes. The girl I found scrubbing a dirty bathroom floor was now standing like a queen. Jason had no answer. Margaret had no control left. They left quietly. And Emily kept her cafe. Emily kept her strength. Emily kept herself. Sometimes the biggest gift we give our children isn't money or businesses. It's the courage to walk away from people who try to break them. And my daughter walked away into the brightest version of her life.